Welcome all. So today's topic is cursed objects. Yes, you heard it right. It is cursed objects. Today we'll be talking about a lot of things in general, about certain objects, different kinds of objects that can actually have a living curse in them. When I say living curse, I mean a curse which is actually alive. Okay? And this has nothing to do with black magic. It is nothing to do with astrological aspect. Okay? It is something to do with different energies which are traveling all around us. The different paranormal activities that on everyday basis, they are all around us, but we are not able to gauge them sometimes. Okay? So, and this topic came to me, through one of my clients again, who had purchased a vintage trunk, a wooden, very beautiful vintage trunk, okay, to be kept in his drawing room, the living area. This is a very interesting topic, okay, and I really wanted to share this information with all of you, okay. Let's see how sometimes a link gets formed, and how sometimes information or data gets collected, or a research starts happening on any particular aspect. Okay, so this client contacted us saying that I have shifted to a new house and I have purchased everything new in my house. All right, all the previous furniture has been discarded, sold off, and I have purchased everything new in my house, the furniture, the electronics, everything. And I have realized that despite of having a new house and all new furniture and all the electronics, there is something wrong that I feel in that house. Okay? And he's unable to analyze what it is and why it is. He said, whenever I stay in that house or I enter that house after I come back from work, I feel very claustrophobic. I feel that there is something really heavy traveling in this house. I feel a lot of heaviness in this house, especially in my living area. And even when the guests are there, even that time I feel very heavy. And even guests who enter the house, they say, I don't know, we don't know. There is something mysterious about this living room. Even they feel that and felt that. So this came to his mind, and one fine day he was just sitting all alone in the living room around the evening time, and he just felt that somebody has just knocked on his main door. And when he opened, there was nobody. So he thought maybe a child must have just knocked and just played a game, and how children are, and just gone by. But then it started happening in different timings, like in the night, 12 o'clock, 2 o'clock, and this became very disturbing for him. And then his wife said, there's something wrong, I'm telling you. Maybe there's something to do with things that cannot be seen with the naked eye. And then he started hunting for a paranormal expert. He came to us through a site, and then he contacted the team. And then we said, okay, fine, you do one thing. Whichever living room it is, send a snapshot. Get the diagnosis done for that particular area. In fact, the whole house. But typically for that area. And tell me that which angle it is that you think is most disturbing for you, or you feel heavy. And when the diagnosis was done, there was this very beautiful looking wooden trunk, like I mentioned before also, that he purchased. And the moment that trunk came in the diagnosis, I said, you know what, there is this trunk, first of all, is not new. From where have you purchased it? And there was a whole long story behind it. that this was a vintage trunk. And he paid double price for purchasing this. And he said, I bought all the new furniture. I said, for you it may be new, but it's actually not new. It's been used from centuries altogether. It was 65 years old before he bought it, the furniture. That information came to him when he was purchasing it. So he said, yes, in fact, with the vintage stuff, you have to pay more. But he had that, that hobby of collecting some sort of a vintage stuff every time. Now, I'm not saying all vintage stuffs are bad, okay? But I'm just saying that that trunk had a curse. A life curse with it. That whoever takes this trunk, strange things will start happening in that house. Okay, and that's exactly what started happening. So what I'm trying to say is that there are several items that we bring in our house. Maybe a painting, maybe a beautiful looking, landscape painting, or a beautiful looking bed, or a sofa set, or a table, or anything, any object. Okay. Even if for that matter, it's not very old, it's not vintage. But there's some sort of trees which are cursed, and wood is made from trees. And even if a new furniture comes in your house, sometimes they can carry some sort of a negative energy. They can carry some sort of a, some sort of a spell, some sort of a, anything with them, like I just mentioned. So you need to be very much aware of this. And now I understand that you will say how you should be aware. Tell us that. Now, this is a very tricky question and a very tricky situation. It's very difficult to even analyze that, how you will actually feel that there's something negative thing attached with it. If you're not a paranormal expert, you don't have that sixth sense. See, people who have sixth sense, let me tell you one thing more. People who have a sixth sense ability, always I tell them, whenever you purchase a furniture, especially I'm talking about furniture here, okay, sit on that furniture for maybe 2 minutes, 5 minutes, okay? And if you feel comfortable not as per the luxurious aspect that how comfortable it is to sit, but if you start feeling positive, if you start feeling it, everything is okay, it's okay. But if you start feeling in 5 minutes or 10 minutes, heaviness on yourself, understand there is something wrong with this object and do not buy that. No matter how beautiful. And something more, these objects which have any sort of a curse with them will always attract you more. It will call you towards itself. Yes, that's true. It will silently, some sort of an energy or some sort of a vibration will call you that, come towards me. This is also there. And people who have experienced this, if any one of that person is watching this video, will understand that what I am trying to convey. Okay? But people who have not experienced this, it's a very good thing, you're lucky. But then just keep a precaution that things like this also, happen. Okay? So be very careful. Or maybe a vintage watch. I have come across so many people with different wall clocks they have purchased with double, triple amounts. See, it's a greatest hobby to collect vintage stuff. And people who have a lot of money and a lot of, strong monetary abilities, they are the ones who purchase a lot of vintage stuff. It's a great hobby for them. In fact, I also myself, I'm a great, I have a great fascination towards vintage stuff. But then since I know how to cleanse and I know how to treat them, it's a different thing altogether. But then for normal people, it's quite possible that this can be one of, maybe a cursed object which enters your house can be one of the reasons for different disturbances or anything that's, a sudden flip-flop in your life can be one of the reasons to a cursed object or a spell object which is just entered your house. And like I said, even if it's a new furniture, maybe that wood, that tree through which this furniture was made was cursed. Okay? So if you find any sort of paranormal activity happening in your house, This can also be one of the reasons, and for that, again, the same story, diagnosis, case study needs to be done. So you can contact us for the diagnosis and case study if anything like this is happening around you. And if you have any sort of a doubt on any particular object, don't think you're a fool or you're the silliest person on this planet. No. Maybe your sixth sense is guiding you towards the correct aspect. That something is wrong with that particular object or that particular window which is made of wood, and it needs to be researched as to what it is. Okay, so the Gmail account is given right here under the YouTube section, the description section. Contact us on the Gmail, get yourself booked for the diagnosis, and from there the answer will be revealed that what exactly is it that's creating a disturbance, if paranormal it is. Okay, so that's about it. I'll see you with the next topic in the next week. Till then, goodbye.